Hello and welcome back to In This Slant. My name is Brady, and as always, today I'm joined with my boy Alex and Dustin. Today is episode number 76, recording on September 15th, very late in the night. Before we get any further, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good. I just got so much to discuss today.
You got some? Do you have anything to say up top?
Right up top, I made a big mistake sitting DeAndre Swift last night on my bench, and I also cut him out of one of my other leagues. Don't know why I did it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
I don't know.
That sucks, man.
I know. I'm down.
In our league, John had him on his bench too. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're not the only one. I'm sure you're not the only one out there that had him on the bench.
Well, it's a big question mark from the get-go.
It was.
You're not really sure what to expect. That's why I didn't start him. I had a friend tell me to start him over Madison. And I did, but it's so much easier to tell someone to do something rather than being in the position where you're like second guessing yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when like Madison went a lot higher than Swift did.
So
that would also be a thing you have to think about. I would have started him at my flex at least. I was even telling Brady, I was like, why is he not, like before the game, I was like, why is John not starting him at his flex? Because his flex was weak. And not even that. This guy that we're talking about, he dropped Stan Laporta for like nothing. Like,
That's
and
crazy.
Austin Eckler's on his team.
Yeah.
So I mean, he might not even play Sunday. So
shout out to him for letting me get Stan Laporta in a few hours. He'll be hitting my team soon.
But before you get any further, make sure you guys drop a like on this one and subscribe if you're new around here. But let's just get into it. Thursday Night Football, of course. First game on Amazon Prime. We had the Vikings versus the Eagles. Now, we were all on the Eagles, and we were all correct about that. But one thing I will say, this was actually a very interesting game. The Vikings just had too many turnovers for, fumble after fumble. It was just a disaster for the Vikings. Kirk had one. Below Powell, I believe, is who it is, had one. And then Justin Jefferson, of course, had the terrible fumble when he tried to reach up the goal line, which some people are calling the worst rule in football. I don't know what you guys think about that, but
I think there's a little validity to it. I mean,
Yeah.
like why punish the team that's about to score for that reason? But it's the rule. You're gonna have to rock with it until it's changed.
yeah, I don't know if they'll ever change it because it doesn't happen like all that often.
No,
I mean,
rarely.
It literally barely ever happens. But yeah, it was one of those plays where I was like, when he reached over and it went, I was like, dude, that might be a touchback, and surely it was. But Eagles, man, one thing I will say, Jalen Hurts to me hasn't looked that all impressive to me so far this season. It just feels like he doesn't look as explosive, I guess. I don't know. It feels like every time he's trying to run, it seems like he has no burst behind his run. It feels like.
And another thing I feel like I've been noticing too is I feel like in the first half, you see the Eagles play really good, and like Jalen Hurts is just like always solid enough to get the job done. But then like in the second half, I feel like you just like see that whole team, like I don't know what it is, but the Eagles would get up big against both teams they played so far, and then they literally made them like almost make a comeback. Yeah, they still got the job done.
Yeah.
But like they shouldn't even have been close games at that point. Like
Yeah,
it just
for
seems like
sure.
they slowed down, or like just were like, oh, we don't need any more points, like we're up, or like I don't know what's wrong with
Yeah,
them.
because the Eagles could barely get anything
because like
going.
he barely even threw. If you look at 23 attempts, is not really shit.
Well, it's
so.
because like they
Yeah.
started the game throwing. Like Swift, I don't think had a carry for like the very first part of the game. It was kind of crazy. I was like, damn, they're not using Swift at all. But then when they started to use him, they're like, wow, the Vikings cannot stop this.
No,
so
they
they
could
just
not
kept
stop
going
it.
at it. 28 carries, 175 yards for DeAndre Swift.
I can't understand.
I know. Swift also could have technically had 2 more touchdowns, but obviously Jalen Hurts, snuck a couple in there. A couple rushing touchdowns, also threw one. But Swift, I will say, man, I've always been a Swift guy. I like DeAndre Swift. I've had him in fantasy twice. The problem with DeAndre Swift is he always gets hurt. So I'm hoping that he can stay healthy because this is the kind of production you can get out of Swift when this man is healthy. Averaging 6 yards a carry, just looked absolutely amazing behind this offensive line, which is one of the best in football. Obviously, pretty much of a lackluster game out of A.J. Brown. He did get upset on the sideline, which
I
was
did.
kind
I
of
saw
weird, in my
that,
opinion,
yeah.
with the Eagles winning. I don't know. I thought that was a little bizarre, but Devontae Smith has been very impressive this season thus far. 4 receptions for 131 yards. But, I mean, do you guys have any big takeaways for this game? Because we haven't talked about the Vikings yet, but for the Eagles side of things, do you guys have anything
I mean,
else?
besides what I mentioned about them kind of feeling like, I feel like they just kind of like play down after they get a huge lead. That's like the only
Yeah, I've
big thing I
noticed
had.
the first 2 games has definitely been like that.
With Jalen Hurts, I think it kind of leads into the Vikings situation, but the Vikings defense, man, I think they played pretty great.
Yeah, they actually did play pretty well.
First part,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
Once they start running, it was
bro,
over.
they could not stop the run game. I think it's the defense coordinator Brian
Flores.
Like, he was throwing all these stunts at him, and putting people at the line of scrimmage, and then dropping for into coverage. There was a pick earlier that game when it was like a stunt where he's going to blitz and he drops back. Jalen Hurts just didn't see him, just a misread. But with Jalen Hurts, I think something that's really affecting him and the whole play is they got a brand new coach staff, brand new OC, brand new DC. The Vikings, especially the commentators were saying it so well last night that the Vikings were setting the edge. So any type of quarterback read, quarterback option, this man Jalen Hurts would try to get a run off, and they're just setting the edge. He can't go nowhere. So I think a big part of it is all the NFL sees Jalen Hurts as such a big threat that they're going to do everything in their power to stop him.
That's a fair assessment for sure. But for the Viking side of things, biggest takeaway for me is, hey, Kirk showed up in prime time. Obviously, that's been kind of a big problem with him. He goes out there, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, did not throw an interception this one either. He did have the fumble at the very beginning of the second half, which led to the Eagles scoring a touchdown on that drive. So that was unfortunate, but again, the Vikings in general were just kind of turning it over all night. Madison, though, Alexander Madison, first 2 games has not been great. Now, I will say they've played 2 good defensive lines in the Bucs, and then obviously the Eagles as well. So maybe there's still some hope for Madison.
But I also mentioned to Alex that I feel like the Eagles won. I'll give him some slack, right? But I feel like against the Bucs, I feel like he should have had not like a crazy game, but like at least a decent one.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm actually happy because Madison was like the one guy that didn't do much for the Vikings yesterday. Like literally everybody else in this offense pretty much scored. Like Jefferson had 159 yards. Addison, Hawkinson, even Osborne all had touchdowns. But Madison was the one guy that barely did anything, and I was playing him in fantasy, so that was a good start to our week. Doesn't mean I won by any means, but it was definitely a great start for me with dealing with how many injuries I'm dealing with right now. I'm happy that Madison didn't go off of my head.
And I always appreciate how Elliott's been dropping. He dropped me 18 week 1 as a kicker, and he dropped me 12 this week, so he's been getting the job done. I will admit, not in Brady's paid league, but in my other buddy's paid league I'm in, I did have AJ Brown, and he did awful for me, so I'm kind of feeling down bad about that. But hopefully, the rest of my fantasy team can pull through.
I think another thing with Madison is I see a lot of the times he's running a check down route, and Kirk just not one. I don't know if Kirk's just reading something different. You obviously can't see the defensive backs, but there's a lot of times Madison was pretty well open last night. He could have just dumped it off to him.
Kirk did overthrow him a few times.
Yeah, and I was just so upset because I'm like, I need these points. I started Madison last night, and it just, bro, it did not do well for me at all. So,
although I will say, I've never been like this. There's actually people out there that take fantasy so seriously that they go out there and message the guy or message the player.
Yeah, no, it's too much.
It's just too much, especially some of the things people are saying to Madison. Like, bro, if you're like that, please don't be like that. There is 0 point in doing stuff like that. There's no reason. Like, football players are humans as well. They're not just somebody that is an athlete and they don't have any emotions. Like, I feel like that's how some of us see athletes, and I hate that.
And another thing, like, it's like it'd be different if he was playing like, I'm not saying to ever do it, but it's like he wasn't even playing against a weak defense. Like, I wouldn't even made a bet on Alexander Madison or anything anyways. I would not have done a bet on Alexander Madison. So I kind of feel like that's your fault too. I'm like, if I saw the bet and I'm like, oh, Alexander Madison over this many yards, I'm probably going under. I'm like, they're playing against the Eagles defense.
Dude,
I
that
doubt
front
they're going to get
7 is nasty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if they fix this turnover problem, I mean, this game could have went a whole different direction so easily.
I was telling one of my buddies to literally bench him this week, and he was like, I don't think I can do that. I think you're playing him, right?
You're telling Jared to bench him?
Yeah.
Okay, collusion much? You're over here trying to give advice to my opponent? Who are you playing this week? Who are you playing this week?
You already know who I'm playing this week.
I have no idea.
Martin. I got the
I got to text Martin.
Like, don't start Sky Moore.
I'll tell him to bench Sky Moore, and I'll trade him freaking Justin Herbert. Or he already has Mahomes. I'll give him Tony Pollard for the week. No,
take him back.
Hey, well, you're gonna take my advice anyway, so it didn't matter. But
I know, I'm just kidding. But Vikings start 0-2. Is it the panic button? Time to push the panic button, or what?
Not yet.
It was two. Okay, one mid team, one solid team. I feel like the Vikings defense has looked a little lackluster at points. The Eagles defense did dominate yesterday, though. But I mean, mainly against the Bucs. I feel like Baker Mayfield looked like he was him again a little bit, and I just don't think against most teams Baker Mayfield would be looking like that. So to me, it's always been a question mark on the Vikings defense, and I do see them still making playoffs because they're in the NFC and they're a really strong offensive team. But to me, they're never going to be a Super Bowl team or a Super Bowl favorite because that defense is just too weak to get the job done.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you say there. But other than that, do you guys have anything else to add to this Eagles-Vikings game?
Nope. I want to see you guys turn up Eagles because you guys are going to play a little bit of better teams and you're going to have to get the job done.
So one more thing with DeAndre Swift. They put a big emphasis on him out of college. Like he was a check down back, runs routes. I told Dustin earlier in the car, he proved it in college why he can run the football. And last night just puts a stamp on it. Vision, explosiveness, elusiveness. He's only 5'8", but he's also 215 pounds. And I told Dustin, I was like, I prefer the 5'8", 5'11" back that's explosive and can get through those holes. Because, of course, you'd want someone like Derrick Henry and Adrian Peterson. But, like, dude, this is a different ball game nowadays. You want a back that's going to get through the hole and get upfield. And he put the stamp on it last night. DeAndre Swift could potentially, I know this might be a overreaction, he could potentially be a top 10 if he keeps playing like that.
Oh,
easy.
I've always thought that about Swift.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, week 1, I remember it was Eagles-Lions, and he dropped like 144 rushing yards. So he's always been really good. And then he got hurt after like week 1, and then
it's just that he always gets injured.
He just gets hurt, man. That's the problem. I want Swift to stay healthy, man. He is so good.
And like that's the thing that kind of hypes me up about the Eagles. Like I was even telling a lot of people before like I told you multiple occasions because I knew you were on the same page. I was like, Swift's the guy I'm looking to target, like in fantasy if I can get him because that Eagles O-line, he has the best chance of staying healthy.
Lions O-line was good too, though, for
sure.
Yeah,
but I feel like he's on the best O-line now.
Oh, Eagles probably the best in the league.
That was also his first game in Philly, and he's from Philly. So, like, it's a good homecoming.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he went to St. Joseph Prep Academy. Raw, bro. Just pure talent
Stay healthy, Swift, man. Stay healthy.
Sorry I dropped you, bro.
Playing against me.
And even though you're on the Eagles, I'm still rooting for you. But
man,
let's talk about our week 2 predictions, boys. Let's see where we agree and disagree. So let's just get.
I'm ready to see this. Actually, I feel like Alex and Brady are gonna be all on the same page again.
Well, I will say all of us are over 500 because with the win last night, we were all on the Philadelphia Eagles. So Alex at 10-7, I'm 9-8. Dustin and Jared are 12-5. But starts off with Green Bay and Atlanta. And Dustin, you're on an island to start this one. You got the Atlanta Falcons over the Packers. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I can see that happening. So I don't think it's too outlandish for you to predict
I feel like people are sleeping on the Falcons secondary. I feel like that's going to be a really big question for them. Also, don't know if Watson's even going to be healthy.
He's questionable right now. He did he practiced today limited. So I don't know if that means he's going to play because he was DNP the last 2 days before that. We shall see.
But I just like the Falcons defense. And to me, just seeing Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert do decent against the Green Bay Packers just has me really scared that 2 better running backs and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Allergy are about to just go off on them. So
I hope Bijan goes off. I got my fantasy.
I got him on all 3 teams. Also questionable.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a close game for sure. But I think the Falcons could squeak it out. I'm probably on an island on a couple of choices too. I'm sure the next one we're probably gonna talk about too.
Bills Raiders, another island for Dustin. I will say, Dustin, I think that Falcons one you might get us because with Watson being out, Aaron Jones potentially being out, that could be a good one for you. We'll see.
And let me just tell you how I'm about to get this
Raiders,
one too.
Bills. We know. I think I know why you picked this, but go ahead and tell me why.
One, I'm a Raiders fan, so I kind of feel like I had to pick it. It's in my heart, right? But also, I really feel like I'm like the opposite could happen where Josh Allen just comes out there firing because he's disappointed in last week. But I also feel like our defense is solid enough that in our secondary is that if he throws like a few bad passes that I feel like we could get a few picks and keep this game close. I also feel like Josh Jacobs played against a better run defense last week. Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs did not do much against the Denver Broncos, but I do think you'll see Josh Jacobs have a bounce back game. And if the Bills can't stop the run and Devontae Adams and I haven't checked the notice on Jacoby Myers, but even he looked good. If they're all ready to go, I think our offensive power is good enough to keep up with the Bills. I know that might be crazy to say, but I really do feel like we can keep up with them. And on the defenses, I would give the edge to the Bills on their defense, but I think that the Raiders is a sleeper, and I think we can honestly get the job done.
And then for the next one, which I think might be game of the week, Bengals-Ravens. Although the Bengals looked really bad in week 1, I am picking them to win alongside Dustin. And then Alex and Jared are both on the Baltimore Ravens. I just smell a bounce back from the Bengals. Back at home. I think Baltimore comes in. Baltimore wasn't all that impressive week 1 either, but they didn't have to do too much. So,
No.
like, it's nothing, like, outlandish to say that. I think it's 2 teams that didn't do too much week 1, especially the Bengals, obviously. They're 0-1.
That's why I feel like I had to pick the Bengals this week, especially with, like, the question marks on the Ravens defense. And then, like, I just...
Marlon Humphrey out.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey is like the biggest thing out for me, in my opinion. That's like the biggest piece, and I feel like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are not gonna have another week. And T Higgins, I can't forget to include him. They're all not gonna do that again. I feel like you're gonna see a bounce back week where they just go off on the Ravens. It's gonna be a close game because the Ravens defense is always good, but I feel like you're gonna see the Bengals win this by like a minimum like a touchdown. It ain't gonna be like I know 1 3-point game. It's going to be a big scoring game where I think the Bengals get at least 1 touchdown on them.
Why are the Ravens going to win this, in your opinion?
I mean, it's going to be... I do think it's going to be a close game. Joe Burrow's definitely going to come out with some fire. Lamar didn't look too impressive. I will say D'Amico Ryan's defense for the Texans looked pretty good. Obviously, I'm at work while all these games are going on, so I try my best to just watch as many as I can on Red Zone. But... J.K. Dobbins being hurt for one. They're going to have to rely on the passing game a little more. I definitely want to see Lamar air it out. The Bengals defense definitely scares me. I think if Lamar gets hot, it's going to be hard for the Bengals to stop him. So that's a big factor for me. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey's out, but I just can see just a way the Ravens defense is pretty damn good, especially their front 7. They're just going to find a way to stop Joe Burrow for certain key drives to where the Ravens are going to win this ball game. But I hopefully T. Higgins does get some targets this week. I got him on one of my teams, and it's just upsetting to see. It's a monopoly. I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
Yeah,
I don't see T. Higgins having 0 points ever again.
I'm surprised about this. Or no, not the next one, but one of these.
Seahawks, Lions, all of us are on the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lions
Seahawks can even beat the Rams, and the Lions just beat the Chiefs. So the math would tell you that the Lions should win this one.
Win it.
In Detroit, Jared Goff is pretty damn good at home as well. So not too much to say on this one. Alex, this is your first.
That's the one that surprised.
This
is the one that surprised me.
You're picking the Texans.
Yeah, I do have the Texans winning this ball game. I know the Colts look pretty damn good week 1. I just, for some reason, can see D'Amico Ryan once again. The defense is going to just be tearing up this Colts offense, and C.J. Stroud's finally going to get loose this game. He
did enter the injury report today, which was
for
interesting.
What?
Shoulder. He has a shoulder injury.
My Lord.
He's on the practice report today. Don't know if that's going to keep him out or not. We shall see.
I just for some reason see the Texans win this ball game. But I mean, if I'm on an island, I'm on my first island. You know, this is one of those games where I'm just like, they both on paper are not supposed to be very good teams. So
I don't know. Anthony Richardson looked good to me. I'm on.
He's questionable, isn't he? Questionable.
No, he's good now.
He's good now.
Yeah.
Ooh, this game I might lose.
I think I saw. Let me double check.
I already picked my team. I'm already logged in. I can just see D'Amico Ryan's defense just tearing up the rookie quarterback, bro. Just like coming out with all these stunts. He don't know what he's doing. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he hasn't been on the injury report since Wednesday.
So that's a good sign for Richardson playing.
Yep.
Next game, this is also another really good game of the week. Chiefs, Jaguars. Alex and I are on the Kansas City Chiefs. They get Kelsey and Chris Jones back. They are going to be heading to Jacksonville for this one, while Jared and Dustin are on the Jaguars. I mean, this is one of those games where it could go either way. The Chiefs got the best of them in the playoffs last year. Jags looked really good week 1. Chiefs, obviously not so much, but they did miss their best pass catcher in Kelsey. And
Kelsey's back?
Yeah, he is playing.
He's active?
Oh, he's playing Sunday.
He's not questionable.
Not questionable.
All right.
He's off the
Thank you, Kelsey. You're back in the starting line.
Kelsey is playing. So Kelsey and Chris Jones will be back on the field, which is why I felt more than confident picking the Chiefs to bounce back on this one. As my alarm is going off, I apologize. But I got the Chiefs. Dustin, why are the Jags going to win this one?
I just feel like I am a little bit more scared because I kind of did make my list a little early before this news of Chris Jones and Travis Kelce coming back, but I'm still going to stick with it. I think this is going to be a shootout still. The Chiefs' defense definitely did impress me a little bit against the Lions, but I also did feel like the Lions' offense looked a little weak. So I also feel like the Jags' offense is better. So they're going to actually show how good the Chiefs' defense is or not. And I feel like I think Travis Etienne's gonna have a big game, and I also feel like Calvin Ridley is just gonna go off as well. So that's what makes me scared, and I'm riding on that. I like the offensive power that the Jags have.
Can I ask what Chris Jones' contract was? I didn't see that.
It was like a 1 year or something. I forget the money.
What, like 20 mil, 30 mil,
something like that.
So
30
dude,
mil.
It was not 30, not 30. I know for a fact when 30. All I remember is a 1 year. That's all.
And he got like some incentives or something.
Sure.
It was like it was like kind of similar to like Barkley and Josh Jacobs' contract come back and just play on this. 1-year deal. Chris Jones, 1 year, $25 million. So I knew it wasn't
wow.
30,
Oh,
but
That's still
good
less than
pay.
good.
Still a really good pay.
I think. See, like I don't want to count the Colts out so early because they did look pretty good, bro. But I don't know if it's a scenario where the Colts are just that much better this year, or the Jags were just playing down. I don't know. I still have the Chiefs winning the ball game. I don't see a reason the Chiefs start off 0-2, especially with Kelsey being back up.
Dustin
Oh
would be a
man,
very happy man.
That is a fair point to mention too. That Anthony Richardson did bring that game back, and they did look pretty good against the Jags. But I also will say that out of all the quarterbacks I've seen in a while, like for their first game, Anthony Richardson has looked really, really good. And I'm not just saying that because I have him on my fantasy team, but like I actually felt like that he was confident out there, and that he's probably the best rookie quarterback right now.
Yep, Anthony Richardson.
Yep,
I agree. Based off week 1, what we saw for sure.
he looked the most confident. He was loose. He was running with the ball. He's got all the intangibles to be a great quarterback in this league, and I think he's gonna. By the end of this year, he's definitely gonna be, in my opinion, a top 10 finishing fantasy quarterback in, or at least 2023, 2024.
Bucks Bears. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you on this one. I remember editing this, and then Alex was over here the other day, or literally yesterday, and I realized I had Bucks and Bears both grayed out, and I meant to fix it to where I had the Bucks winning, but for some reason I still have the Bears. So,
but you got the Bucks winning, right?
no, I'm
you-
looking at the graphic, and I
Yeah,
have
the
the
Bears
Bears
win.
winning.
I saw that.
I'm on an accidental island,
But
so-
you're not. That's not really your pick.
It wasn't really my pick, but I'm okay with rolling with it
All
because
right.
it's there. So if it works out for me, that's great. If it doesn't, whatever. I'm on an accidental island.
I mean, I'm on 2 islands,
I'm
so
pretty sure I meant to choose the Bucks, but whatever. I did that one on accident.
So give us an argument for the Bears winning this ball game.
I just feel like the Bears. It's hard to.
Justin Fields is better than Baker Mayfield.
Justin
Okay,
Fields is better than. It's hard because I was gonna choose the Bucks. I remember that for sure. I don't know why I have the Bears colored, but whatever. I will just say the Bears look terrible in week 1. That is not what we'll see for the rest of the season. Bucks were a fluke. Bears was a fluke. Bears come back on top. Hopefully this accidental island actually works out for me. We shall see. We're all on the Chargers. Titans are terrible. DeAndre Hopkins may not play. And then the Chargers, they did lose week 1, but they looked phenomenal. They played the Dolphins, so they're going to win. The next 2 games, same thing. 49ers, we're all on them. The Rams, of course, they did win week 1. It would be wild if the Rams won this, but there's already been a forecast of like the 49ers or the Rams stadium will be like 64% 49ers fans. So it's basically going to be a home game for them anyway. And then Cowboys, Jets. Obviously, I don't think anyone in the world can pick Zach Wilson to come out here and beat the Cowboys. Although, it may have been a couple years ago, but I remember when the Jets upset the Cowboys, so maybe that could happen again. Jets defense is phenomenal, so I could see a world where the Jets defense wins in this game. Because Dak, obviously, he didn't have to do much last week.
No.
So this is going to be like an interesting scenario. We'll see. If Zach Wilson doesn't absolutely shoot this team in the foot and he just, game manages the game, could Dak potentially shoot the Cowboys in the foot on offense? That's definitely in his MO sometimes. So I don't know. Feels like a game where the Jets could win, but I'm not going to go out on a limb and predict it.
No, you know what I feel like too is like I told Brady at least, not in Brady's league, but in another person's league. I kind of accepted it really quick when I saw the trade at 3 a.m. But I traded Brandon Ayuk for Josh Jacobs and the Cowboys defense. Like I literally got both, and they play against Zach Wilson. And I feel like their O-line against the Bills looked not very good. So I feel like the Cowboys are just going to get after that way, way harder.
Oh, for sure.
So that's what's kind of the good. And then the week after that, they play the Arizona Cardinals. So that's 2 games in a row where I feel like the Cowboys defense are going to dominate. So I'm like, I literally got Josh Jacobs, my favorite running back, because obviously he's on my team. And then literally, I got Cowboys defense for Brandon Ayuk. I was like, that literally, I kind of regret it. Yeah, but I kind of regret it now because I have a bunch of running back depth in that league, and I kind of got rid of my 3rd good receiver, but we're going to work with it.
All right, so the next game, Dustin, you're on another island here. Commanders, Broncos. I will say that I could definitely see a world where the Broncos win, so I don't hate this island for you. I just picking my favorite team in this scenario. Broncos offense. I mean,
that's with me with the Bills.
Commanders put up more points than the Broncos did, so I don't know. Both offenses look anything too crazy week 1. I will say the one thing that has me worried about this game is I don't know if this is true or not, but Ron Rivera, if it's true, you are an absolute idiot. His plan is apparently going into the altitude is to just show up at the last second possible so the altitude doesn't bother you. But everyone I know says that the altitude kills you in like the first 24 hours,
Dude,
and then you acclimate to
That
it.
is no, see exactly. He is tripping, bro. Like you literally have to be in that environment for a long period of time to get used to it. If you just walk in the, it's like going to run a marathon out of the gate and not training for it, dude. Ron Rivera, I'm sorry, dude. That is
If
probably
that's the plan, bro.
that's so fucking dumb,
That's
dude.
so stupid. I saw that quote. I'm hoping it was a troll, or I'm hoping. I think it's true though. I actually legitimately think it's true.
Oh,
Ron
my.
Rivera, he's kind of an idiot, man.
That's so
I
dumb.
like him. He's a good person, but his coaching has been lackluster at best. And I hope that we find a way to keep Eric Bieniemy past this season, because I wouldn't mind if he was the head coach going forward and Ron Rivera just gets fired. But
and let me explain why I picked the Broncos
Yeah,
though,
go ahead.
because one, I feel like our defense is actually sleepers. That's why I said that earlier about the Bills and Raiders game. So I feel like that's another reason why Russell Wilson didn't look good. He also didn't have his best weapon in Jerry Jeudy, in my opinion. So that
he
also
will be on a snap count.
yeah,
will be
but he'll
back.
be out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Denver's defense looked really good, man. Like to shut down Josh Jacobs and Devontae, that just really scared me. Like I know you guys have Dotson that could go off like Jacoby Myers did. That's what I'm also could see happening. Jahan Dotson having a huge game, but I really do feel like the Denver's defense, because the Washington always starts off to a slow start. If their defense was firing on all cylinders, like the Broncos, I would say probably I'd favor Washington. But I just think that the Denver Broncos defense is what's going to get them to slip through the cracks and get the win.
I will say we do get Chase Young on Sunday, so he will be playing.
Wow.
So finally, Chase Young will be back on the field. Hopefully, that's a big boost for our defense.
Hopefully, get some pressure.
For real, we need it. Especially, he's on a contract year now as well. So Washington has a bunch of important free agents that they have to figure out in the offseason. But that's for another time. Dolphins, Patriots. We're all on the Dolphins. They looked amazing week 1.
Yeah.
Patriots didn't look too bad either. Their
No,
offense
they
actually looked somewhat competent.
But also that comes down to like what we said. The Eagles feels
yeah.
like they keep on playing weak once they get big leads. So I do like the Patriots, and I do think they can make the playoffs. But against the Dolphins, a really powered offense that is going to be firing on all cylinders. I'm sorry, but I don't think it's going to be a huge blowout. But I see the Dolphins winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
This is also the Sunday night game
I
as
guess
well.
it's a blowout, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns.
2, fine,
as
2
well.
touchdowns.
Two's
I
definitely
could see the
kind of.
Patriots winning this game, to be honest with you. I would not be shocked if they
And
somehow
pick
won.
them. No, I'm just
Sorry,
kidding.
kill 44
I'm
points
just saying I
again?
wouldn't be shocked. But I'm not
Mac
picking
Jones
them.
did go off week 1.
Yeah. But then we get the 2 Monday night games. We got 2 Monday night games. They're also doing the same thing next week as well. So it'll be 2 Monday games next week. So we have Saints, Panthers. We're all on the Saints. Bryce Young didn't look anything special.
I'm glad
week
Jared
1.
hopped off, because me and
Yeah.
Jared were riding that Panther train all last year. It did not pan out,
So-
and I will not be riding that train.
I feel like Michael Thomas. I was telling him, I know they got Chris Olave, they got all these weapons. All the attention's off Michael Thomas now. Why is there not a reason Michael Thomas can boom again, bro? Like, I mean,
for me, the ship has sailed because the man can never stay healthy. But
Yeah.
hey, if he can pop off this year, stay healthy, then
he's on my bench.
yeah, we shall see. Because I had him last year and I traded him at the beginning of the season. I felt dumb because he went off like week 1, and after that, he got hurt. So I was like, oh, it's not so bad anymore. And then we all were all on the Browns to beat the Steelers. Browns looked dominant week 1. Steelers, not so much. They're going to be out that without Deontay Johnson.
Yahoo Fantasy's pissing me off.
Oh, bro, Deontay is out, man. I know they can't do it because the Steelers haven't released their injury report. They don't have to till Saturday. So tomorrow, he should be listed as out.
He should already be listed as out, though.
He should be, though, for sure.
We should have already been able to pick people up. Everyone, especially in Brady's league, we have 14 people. All the people are gone. There's like no one I want to.
Like no one
no one you want anymore. So Brady has him in his league, in Brady's league. I have him in another league though, and that there's still a few players out there. So right when Deontay gets that IR list, there's gonna be at least someone I can sneak off with.
All right, boys. That is our week 2 predictions. That was the Thursday Night Football recap. Anything else you guys want to add? Do you have any like bold predictions that are out there for Sunday? Man,
Raiders are beating the Bills. That is my boldest prediction.
That's
really-
that's
prediction.
a bold prediction, especially in Buffalo. I will say I'm starting him week 1, or I'm starting him this week. I picked up Zach Moss. I didn't claim him, but he was free on waiver, so I picked him up. Last year he went off against the Texans in week 18. I'm starting him this week and hoping for a big performance. I think he goes 120 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
That's my hope for Zach Moss this week.
Actually, wait. If we're gonna do a prediction like that, then I got my prediction. You ready?
Go ahead.
Same game. AR's dropping 30 fantasy points minimum. He's gonna go
Golly.
30 points.
All right, I'll give one bold prediction. I know I got the Bucks winning. DJ Moore is gonna have 140 yards and a touchdown this Sunday.
Hey,
I
if he's
agree with
doing that might make my Bears Island look good. So I'd be happy with
Should have
that.
said that. It's not your bold prediction. His bold prediction is Mike Evans dropping 3 tutties.
Man, he can do it.
Oh,
He's done it.
Not with Baker though.
Oh yeah, I got one more
Just
thing.
kidding.
I had a couple people text me about my Giants prediction last week.
Yeah, go ahead, because we didn't get to hear from you on the Sunday night debacle about the Giants.
Gosh.
So we'll save it here for the end.
All right, so
I
okay.
tried to fill in for you as much as I could because I remember
Yeah.
when my Commanders went down like 50-0 to
Yeah.
the Cowboys. So go
It was
ahead.
rough. So first drive looked good. Everyone can agree, and then it was false start, bad snap, block field goal, and it just went downhill from there. I will say the Cowboys defense looked amazing. Number one, top 3 for sure. I mean, interchangeable throughout the year. It kind of changes depending on turnovers and all that good stuff. But the offense was not impressing me. It's the defense that impressed me. The Dallas Cowboys defense looks amazing. They did everything in their power to.
I feel like you really need to see the offense, unfortunately.
I mean, I really didn't. I mean, obviously Tony Pollard scored.
Yeah, Pollard scored a couple touchdowns.
They didn't really have to do a whole lot, but Dak played, below average. He didn't have to do much. He really didn't have to go out there and sling the ball around. I will say hats off to the Cowboys. I do know a lot of Cowboys fans, and I did see them while I was at work, shook their hands and say, "Hey, we got our ass whooped." That's all it is, man. There's no excuses. There's a couple Cowboys fans out there that I can't stand, despise of them, don't like
Most of
them. I would say most of them. But I will say the Dallas Cowboys look very, very good. If they play like that all year, there's no reason they shouldn't be in the NFC Championship this year.
Which, by the way, did I accidentally skip over Cardinals Giants?
Yeah, you did.
Kind of. But we will. I mean, if the Giants do not win this.
Oh, it was right here. I skipped over it.
Yeah, you went
They
straight
both-
to Rams for
My
Yeah.
bad. We're all on the Giants. I expect them to bounce back. I did not mean to do that.
If the
They
Giants don't,
should beat
they
this
should.
They should. If they go down 0-2 to the Cardinals,
There's a problem.
There
There's
is a
definitely
big
a problem in New York, and I'm not like obviously I've been on the fence about Daniel Jones. I have confidence in him, and I can't say the whole game it wasn't entirely his fault, man. The O-line played like crap. He couldn't have no time in the pocket. His biggest play to Isaiah Hodgins turned into a fumble. So it's not like Daniel. It was all Daniel Jones' fault. It was everybody's fault. So I will say I'm not going to sit here and count on Daniel Jones yet. Even Michael Parsons said it's a good quarterback. They need to give him protection. As time rolls on, I can really give a full analysis and opinion on what I think of Daniel Jones this year. But
So what were your thoughts about me dropping him in Brady's?
I mean, I don't blame you for dropping him.
I'm not gonna start him over AR any week.
I mean,
anyways.
if Daniel Jones were to pop off, obviously you're going to see him come off waivers real quick. But it's just a matter of the consistency at this point. I will say there's always a game of the year where a team gets whooped or something happens. Like last year, let's say the Chiefs lost to the fucking Colts. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Like shit happens. This is any given Sunday. Dallas came out swinging, but I'm glad our Giants are a lot of, especially I think it was Andrew Thomas came out or Evan Neal's like we got our ass whooped, flush it, point blank blank. There's no excuse for it.
Move on, man.
Just got to move on, man. It's week 1. I will say Dallas's defense is the real deal.
Oh,
Real fucking deal.
Absolutely.
Golly.
One thing I will say, Cardinals defense looked pretty good against us last week. I will say
did.
that. Jonathan
They did.
Gannon obviously was defense coordinator for the Eagles. I will say be careful because it felt like they were trying to hurt Sam Howell at
Oh,
times.
man.
So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. There was a few dirty hits I didn't really like, but other than that, you guys got anything else to add before we send it off?
I'm ready to be 2-0 in Brady's league, and the Raiders to be 2-0.
All right, we shall see if that comes true, Dustin. But thank you guys for watching. As always, this is the Slant. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and click here to subscribe and, of course, to watch some more.